everybody. I really am enjoying the speeches, so it's really hard to come up here after those speeches and feel like you can, do anything better than what we have. I'm just going to hand out something that may be helpful to you or may not. Today I want to talk about whether or not you should have a strategic plan for your life. So I don't know how many people here are familiar with the concept of strategic planning in business. It's the general idea of, taking some time out of your day, thinking ahead, saying, where do I want to be in the future, and what are the steps that I have to do to get there? Okay, great. So if you've been in business, you've had maybe some exposure to strategic planning. But how many of you have thought about, do you need to do that for your life? So a life plan is really more focused on who do you want to be when you grow up? Who do you want to be when you're old? Where is it that you really want to get with your life? And so what I wanted to suggest today is that maybe really taking a strategic planning process to your life events might be a very helpful tool for you to use going forward. So what the way that this has kind of come to me has been by two people that I've been mentored by. One is Willie Hooks and the other is George Antone. And this is a technique that they've used, and so I'm going to share that a little bit with you, and if you find it helpful, great. So the first thing on here is the first process of this is really discovering your freedom. So what is it that really makes you, how do you figure out what that is? What is that path or the process to help you discover that? And the very first step in that is to say, how do you change your mindset to become a creator? So rather than having maybe a victim mentality, you want to move to the creator. And so I know a lot of people in here will say, I'm not a victim, but it's all the things, all the little tells that you say. So for instance, I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. This person's really good at that, but I can't do that. I don't know how to get up and give a speech. I don't know how to do a meme. So, it's changing those dialogues to say, I don't know how, I can't, I won't, to what can I do to do those things? How can I get past that? So that's really what becoming a creator is about, is changing your mindset to a different, to put you in a different place. And the next thing is kind of envisioning your future. So I don't know if anybody's heard of this thing called the rocking chair technique. The general idea is, you're sitting in a rocking chair, you're 90 years old, and you're taking a look back and you say, these are the things that I wish I would have done, I would have been, who I am, who people perceive me to be. And so it's just a little exercise to say, not today, not tomorrow, but where do I really want to be in life? So spending a little bit of time to focus on that information. And then what you want to do is kind of translate that back in time to say, how does that translate into defining kind of a perfect day? So there are really two exercises. One is in the future, and that future is what would those perfect days have been for you. So it's a process of saying an exercise that you would go through that says, on my perfect day, I wake up at this time in the morning. I eat this. I do this. I visit with these people. This is what I'm enjoying doing. It's really taken some time out to say, what does that look like for you? So that whole first part of the process is really just discovering, where is it you want to be, and not skimping on the time that it takes to do that. And then you want to be telling yourself that that's where you want to be, repeating, working on it all the time, telling yourself a couple times a day, rethinking that, so that anytime you take an action or you're thinking about your plans, how do they get you to that spot that you want to be? So the whole kind of second trail of this process really is, you know, a lot of times people, and for me, and maybe for many others, it's, I can't do what I want because I don't have the means to do what I want. So for some people it's travel, visit kids, or whatever. So the second track of this is really whether it's about taking financial control or really just making a plan. What's the plan that you need to get you where you want to be? And then the last track of this is really how do you create your freedom? And that's by the education. I think just in general, you know, we need to continue to educate ourselves. So, you know, start with some key things. Don't try to go all out day one and get the whole 9 yards in, but have a plan. Go step by step to get where you want to be. So really that is why I think, you know, you can definitely integrate the concept of strategic planning in planning for your life. So you want to, you know, really discover what are the things that make you happy, where you want to be. How do you craft and develop and organize a plan around that, and then start executing on the steps to get there. So hopefully that was interesting for you. I thank you.